This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, a very good evening, everyone. I could see close to 30 participants joining the demo session. Thank you very much for joining. I hope I'm audible, and I've just started sharing my screen. Let me know if my screen share is coming up. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. Visible here. Okay, let me give a quick round of introduction about my profile because today happens to be the day 0 demonstration class. So my name is Kiran and I will be your trainer for API automation testing using Postman tool, where I'm going to cover how to automate REST APIs, SOAP APIs and GraphQL APIs. To give a little overview about my profile, I come with close to 18 years of experience in the software testing industry, having worked across multiple organizations inside India and outside India. And coming to my expertise, I have done multiple corporate training programs and consulting engagements across the length and breadth of India and also in the Asia Pacific regions across multiple areas of software testing. So, example to talk few areas where my expertise is in. It's in manual testing, which is in line with ISTQB syllabus, then mobile application testing, automation testing of backend APIs using tools like Postman, REST Assured, Catalan Studio, SOAP UI tool, Ready API tool, Insomnia, Tailend tool. Then automation of front-end web applications using tools like Catalan Studio and Selenium. Then performance testing of your APIs and web applications using tools like Jmeter and Gatling, and then on security testing of APIs and web applications and databases using tools like Burp Suite, ZAttack proxy, etc. Apart from this, I also focus trainings on accessibility testing, usability testing. Then on the DevOps side, I've done multiple trainings on GitHub, GitLab, Jenkins, Bitbucket, SourceTree. So these are the areas of my expertise where I do hands-on testing even today, where I do consulting for organizations. And of course, I do a lot of corporate trainings and public batches the way I'm doing right now for all of you. That's a quick round of introduction about my profile so that you know who the trainer is going to be. And coming to the course curriculum, what we have in place for this training, I would like to I mean, this class is more about what I teach in this course so that you can take a very wise decision whether to enroll in the course, or you can ask me questions if you think that you are here for something else and if that's not answered by us. Maybe I can help you answer those questions if they are unanswered in the course curriculum. So if you are interested in looking at the course curriculum, we have it published on our website and I'm giving it out on the chat window as well. Okay, so it's coming up here. On the chat, I have given the course curriculum. Please, you can have a look at it. You also have some reviews from our previous students listed on the website. So the very first thing that you should understand is what is the takeaway from this course, right? So I can say that by the end of this course, you will have understanding about the backend APIs, why are they developed, how do they look like, what should be your testing approach for those kind of backend APIs, what are the tools available in the market to test those APIs, and you will become an expert from automation testing of APIs using Postman tool, and how the test plan should be prepared for APIs, how the reusable test cases can be prepared for these APIs. These are the key takeaways of this particular course. Okay. Of course, you become an expert in automation testing using Postman tool and another framework called Newman tool by integrating it with GitHub and Jenkins. Those are the expectations. And coming to the, may I request everyone to please go on mute. Okay, I have muted everyone for now. If you have questions, please put it on the chat window. Thank you. Yeah. So coming to the salient features of this course is for close to 1 month, which means close to we have 30 hours of training. And in this 30 hours, 80% of the training will be on practical hands-on experience, where I teach practically how to test APIs by writing code in Postman tool. 20% being the theory, where you will understand the client and server architecture, the three-tier architecture model, the API test cases, the API testing techniques, the API test plan. Okay, and you will get access to the material from me through Google Drive, so you don't have to worry about the notes. It's already prepared. You will have it. It's not a PowerPoint presentation. It's not a PDF. It's a document that I have prepared, and a document that I keep updating with every batch, so you get the notes, which is very much latest. Then coming to the classes, every day the class gets recorded and you will be given access to the recorded class as well, and it is a lifetime access, so you can always listen to the classes anytime that you want. You also receive a course completion certificate from Isha team after the course is completed. Okay. Now let me quickly go forward and explain what do I have in the course content. Okay, okay, Ajit, I see your question. This is about how to automate, okay, in APIs in Postman. So how to automate APIs in Postman tool. This is what the course curriculum is all about. Now let me talk about what do I have here. So in chapter 1, so I have divided this course into multiple chapters, right? If I quickly scroll down, you will see here that we have close to 13 chapters where we are going to discuss in depth about APIs and how to automate it. So in chapter 1, which is completely theory, you will understand what is an API, why the APIs are developed, and what kind of applications these days are using APIs. And then we'll talk about the client and server architecture model, and we'll also talk about three-tier architecture model. So in chapter 1, you will understand the HTTP GET methods such as GET, POST, PUT, patch, delete. You will understand the protocols like HTTP, HTTPS. You will understand the request headers, response headers, the status codes, 1xx, 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, 5xx, how the industry is classifying the response codes. That's what you're going to understand. And you'll also understand how the data description formats look like what is JSON, what is XML, how do they look like, and why the industry moved from text to HTML, why the industry moved from HTML to XML, then why the industry moved from XML to JSON. We'll have some understanding about all these things in chapter 1. And also we'll talk about the business layer, the presentation layer, the database layer, where I'll talk about three-tier architecture model, where we will introduce the front-end system, the back-end system, and the server-side system, how the handshake happens between all these three applications, which is essential for an API test engineer to understand. So that's what we are going to discuss in chapter 1. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put it on chat window regarding chapter 1. Okay, there is a question from Karthik. May I know what kind of industries or domains use Postman tool, and in which language are we going to perform automation? So regarding the language, Karthik, it is going to be JavaScript. And what kind of industries or domains, right? So I would say all domains these days are using APIs in the backend. Like banking sector uses it, financial sector uses it, insurance sector uses it, the BFSA domain uses it, or any simple domain, logistics, supply chain management, any kind of domain these days they use APIs. It is not specific to any one domain. Arun Kumar says, how do I make the screen bigger? So Arun, it is, I mean, it's something you have to control, not under my control. You can click on three dots on the top right corner and click on toggle full screen. Then the screen becomes bigger for you. Okay, it's a control that you have, not I. And Vinodini says, how much percentage of coding will be used? I would say, see, Postman is a GUI tool, so a lot of configurations can be done within the tool, thereby minimizing the possibility of coding. But basic scripting we have to write assertions and validate it. I would say 20% of coding is what we have to do. But even if you do not know Java, JavaScript, that should be obviously okay, because it's not necessary for us to code anything. Okay. There is a inbuilt chatbot within Postman tool using which we can automate it. So I guess that should be pretty much easy for you. Okay. And Lokesh says, does it cover microservices as well? Yes, I would say. Okay, Ramesh says JavaScript mostly for UI testing, backend part Java and Python. Not exactly, Ramesh. By Postman uses JavaScript for writing assertions. Okay, your question is probably more related to developers, but in automation testing in Postman we use JavaScripts only because Postman supports only JavaScript. Again, a question from Karthik: Postman tool paid or licensed? Postman tool comes both. You have a free version of Postman. That's what we are using. It's free for everyone, officially given by Postman team. You also have a licensed version for enterprises. Prabhu says, do you provide placement after course? No, Prabhu, we don't deal with placements. We can help you with the basic stuff like maybe interview preparation, resume preparations, but there is no guarantee on the placements. That's something that you have to take care. Vinodini says, any prerequisites? If you understand the basics of software testing, that's more than enough, Vinodini. You don't have to come from any programming language background. Yeah, sure. I think I got your message, Vicky. Uday will cover SOAP APIs, not the SOAP UI tool. Krishna says which API tool we'll be using. We are using in this course, Postman tool. Rest assured also I teach, but not in this course. That's another course that you can do. Without coding also you can take this course, Arun, not a problem. Okay. So guys, I think we can go to the second chapter. Again, I'll take the questions whichever I could not take. Just wait, I'll take the questions later. So chapter 1 will help you understand the client server architecture model and the 3-tier architecture model. So coming to chapter 2, which is also theory again, but in chapter 2 you will become very close to the world of APIs. Here I am going to talk about the different technologies of APIs available. Like, we will talk about remote procedure calls, we'll talk about SOAP APIs, we'll talk about REST APIs, we'll talk about GraphQL APIs. So GraphQL APIs comes from Facebook, REST APIs come from Google. So we'll talk about how the APIs have evolved over a period of time and what is the technology that is currently running in the market. We'll look at all those things, and then I'll explain the classification of APIs. Essentially, when you're working in a project, this becomes very helpful. You should know whether you are working for a public API project or a private API project. You should know whether you're working for a project which uses secured APIs or unsecured APIs, whether you are working for consumer based API development or enterprise API based development. So that answers you will get in chapter 2, because mostly when you deal with developers and customers, these questions comes into picture. And in this chapter we'll look at the structure and the syntax of an API, because that is very much essential for you to write test cases, for you to build a test plan, and for you to automate the process of APIs in rest assured tool or Postman tool. So API syntax will be explained clearly in this particular chapter, and we'll also take a look at different APIs in the internet that helps you how to automate. Okay, that's what I have in chapter 2. And chapter 3, we will talk about the different API testing techniques. So usually when we say I'm a software test engineer, we talk about smoke testing, regression testing, retesting, ad hoc testing, exploratory testing, user acceptance testing, performance testing, etc., etc. But in API testing, we have different testing techniques. You see here, I have listed different testing techniques here. So we are going to talk about all these testing techniques. And these testing techniques are exclusively written only for APIs. So if you understand all these sub testing techniques, then only you can claim that you are a perfect specialized API test engineer. So someone says, hey, can you tell me what testing techniques are there in API testing? And if you say smoke testing, retesting, then you are wrong. We should talk about these testing techniques which I have highlighted. In the same chapter, we'll talk about how to write a test plan for APIs. I have already prepared it. We'll go through it. And then I will talk about what kind of reusable test cases we can build. And these reusable test cases are generally reusable for any project. So I'll show you one example here, like what I meant by this. I'll take you to my drive where the notes will be shared with you. So if you come to my material, so this is the documentation I'm going to share with you. This is where I have the test plan, which is already prepared. And in this test plan, we have the detailed information about how to approach the testing process. The entire planning is written over here. And the reusable test cases. So here we have written what scenarios we have, which comes under positive testing and which comes under negative testing. I have written here. These are our 42 test scenarios. And then detailed test cases are also written here, which you can see. Under each testing technique, you can see what testing techniques we have written here. This is what we are going to do. Okay, practically we are going to do these 60 test cases that we have written here. Okay, that's the delivery from chapter 3. Moving further, chapter 4. Now from chapter 4 onwards, it is going to be 100% practicals, no theory. First chapter, second chapter and third chapter are theory, which will make your foundation strong in the world of APIs. Chapter 4 onwards, we will talk specific to the Postman tool for automating the APIs. So chapter 4 is very small and very quick enough. This is where I'm going to give you a quick introduction about Postman tool. What is this tool meant for? What is the purpose of this tool? How to download the tool and which flavors the tool is available? How do you sign up? How do you sign in? And a quick walkthrough of the Postman tool. That's what chapter 4 will focus all about. In chapter 5, we will talk about the hierarchy of Postman, meaning how to start your project in Postman. Like what are the top 5 steps you have to follow every time to work with automation of APIs. That hierarchy I'm going to explain in chapter 5. And then we'll create a workspace in chapter 5 as well. A workspace is nothing but a project repository. It's where your project automation resides. And in Postman, we have 5 different types of workspaces available. I'm going to talk about the top 3 workspaces in this course, where we'll talk about how to create a personal workspace, a team workspace, a public workspace, how to delete the workspaces, how to convert from one type to another type, like personal to team, team to public, public to team, or public to personal. How do I invite my colleague into my workspace so that we can do work by collaboration and coordination? That's what chapter 5 focuses all about. Okay, I'll take a pause here, guys. Until chapter 5, do you have any questions? Prabhu, the course content is already available on the website, and the website link, I'm giving it on the chat. You can check it out there. Guys, any questions until this chapter 5? You can put it on the chat. So today's class, it's more about helping you guys understand what I teach in the course. And in tomorrow, we are going to take the chapter 1 directly, where I'm going to explain what are APIs, and we'll start off with client and server architecture along with data description formats in tomorrow's class. So since one of you said, can we talk little practical? Not today, tomorrow it will start, because today it's all about making you guys understand what do we cover in the course. Duration of the course, Gunjan, is around 30 hours, 30 days, I would say. The course cost is listed on the website. You can see it there, 6,900 Indian rupees. And we are going to have 5 classes per week, Monday to Friday are the classes. We do not have classes on Saturdays and Sundays. And it is going to be between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. And Uday, I would say happily you can claim 2 years of experience in API automation testing with Postman tool. That's the guarantee I can give you. Guys, am I clear until this point? Anyone has questions? Guys, I think all of you are on mute, so you have to put a message on the chat. Let me unmute. Okay. 1 second. I think this is me only. Okay, Vinodini says, will you cover Newman? Yes, Vinodini, I am going to cover Newman also. Okay, let's move forward and then continue to put your questions on the chat. I will take them again. Now moving to chapter 6, this is where we are going to talk about different projects. Okay, the beauty of our course is like we don't take only one project. We are going to take minimum 3 projects and complete the automation for all the 3 projects. So I'm going to take a REST API project, I'm going to take a SOAP API project, then I'm going to take a project where API documentation itself is not available. Then how would you handle such difficult situations in your projects or interviews? So chapter 6 focuses on how do you automate REST APIs? How would you automate SOAP APIs? Guys, sorry, please go on mute. I'm getting some disturbance. Thank you. Yeah. So in chapter 6, we are going to talk about different API documentation formats, like how to understand Swagger documentation, how to understand curl documentation, how to understand XML based WSDL documentation, similarly JSON, YAML, HTML, HAR. You should be able to understand all these API documentations in chapter 6, because you never know in which format your organization is doing the API documentation. Probably in project 1, you use a Swagger. In project 2, you might use curl. In project 3, you might use a WSDL. So sometimes, people say, hey, in my course, we learned only Swagger, but in my company, we are using curl format. So my course became useless. So that should not be the way I should be able to do it. So I'm going to cover various documentation formats that is going to help you in the interviews, and that is going to help you in your projects as well. Okay, similarly, we'll talk about how do we create a collection in Postman tool. Now, collection is a folder kind of structure inside which you will write your API request and then the automation scripts. So we'll talk about in how many ways you can create a collection, how do you rename it, how do you delete it, etc. And in this process, we are going to create the framework. When I say framework, we are going to talk about how do we create positive test cases or smoke test cases, how do we create negative test cases or regression test cases. So we are going to build a framework in API automation using the Postman tool. Okay, now this is going to be the game changer mostly in our course. And I'm going to take a project which will be written in the form of curl documentation, where I'm going to take APIs that uses get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method, and we'll do automation. End to end API automation will be done. After that, we will take some Swagger example, meaning Swagger documentation. What if a developer is giving a project but written in Swagger API documentation? That also we are going to automate it. And third example is, what if your developer has given you an XML format or a WSDL format where SOAP APIs come into picture? So that also we are going to see as a project, and we are going to automate it. Right now you see them as 3 bullet points, but these 3 bullet points will take nothing less than almost 15 classes. That's how the projects are going to be taken. And in this process of explaining these 3 projects, we'll talk about what is a response code, how do you validate it, How do you validate the response body, the response time, the response headers, etc. We'll write lot of assertions in JavaScripts, and I'm going to give all the JavaScripts to you, and most of the JavaScripts are common, meaning if you have written in one project, you can reuse it in other projects also. So you don't have to even remember the JavaScripts. And Postman comes with a built-in chatbot that you can use to write automation scripts. That also I'm going to educate you or teach you in this course. Okay. And in chapter 6, I'll also talk about how do you generate a test report in JSON format. Okay. In chapter 7, we'll focus more on the automation of APIs. Okay, meaning the advanced automation will focus, where I'm going to explain you what is data driven automation. I'm going to take the Java fake library to generate random data. And the data driven automation testing can be conducted by supplying a CSV file to the server or by supplying a JSON file to the server. Something like, creating bulk records, updating bulk records, deleting bulk records. That is what we achieve in data driven automation testing, which is the common framework any Selenium tool uses or Postman uses. Then we are going to conduct interoperable excuse me we are going to conduct interoperability testing. Interoperability testing means a kind of browser compatibility testing and operating system level compatibility testing. So how can you tell that your APIs are compatible on Chrome browser, Firefox browser, Safari browser, or Mac operating system, Linux operating system, Windows operating system? That is what we are going to address in interoperability testing through a shortcut. I'm going to show you even how to do performance testing and load testing for APIs using the Postman tool only. So Postman tool recently in the sense 1 year ago, they came with the feature of doing automation for APIs from a performance perspective and load testing perspective. So our course will cover even that topic apart from functional testing of APIs. Then we are going to talk about continuous testing or scheduled automation testing, which means usually you will write the automation code and you will run the automation code. Imagine a situation where you are on vacation, so you cannot execute the automation code and your project team is dependent on you, but you are on vacation, so the automation execution takes a back seat. In those situations, we will implement continuous automation testing, which means even in your absence, the scripts will run automatically based on the schedule that you have set in advance. So I can put a schedule that run this every day in the morning at 8 a.m. and send a report to my client and to my project team. Postman will do that. So that automation is what we are going to learn in this chapter 7. And we are going to conduct lot of assertions meaning functional validations. This is where the automation code will be written, and there are different scenarios where automation scripts have to be written. So I'll just read it out. We'll write it for response codes, response messages, response time, response body, response headers, JSON checks, enum checks, conditional statements. How do you skip certain scripts? How do you introduce delay? We are going to write assertions for data type check. We are going to print or validate maximum response attributes. We are going to print or verify request attributes. If your response body contains an array, how would you validate it? How would you validate for 2xx, 4xx, 5xx response codes? Or how do you validate for multiple response codes? So there are so many assertions that you should be aware of. That is what this chapter will focus on. Another automation technique which is essential for you to learn is API chaining or API togetherness or property transfer. So API chaining is a process where you extract the value from one API and subtract it to other API. Like in the login API, I get the token, I extract this token and then I supply it to other APIs that need the login access token. That's called as API chaining. We will also do end-to-end automation of APIs by writing JavaScripts and by doing API chaining. And then there is another plugin on Chrome browser and Firefox browser called Postman Interceptor. Using this Postman Interceptor, we can capture the API calls directly from the browser application, from the web application. So this automation tool Interceptor will be helpful when you don't have API documentation, which means, let us say, I'll give a sample application here. Let us say this is our project, and you see here I have a login page, and if I click on new user, I see a registration page. So if I ask you guys do the automation for registration APIs, similarly do the automation for login APIs, then your question is, okay, give me the API document, I will do it. And the developer says, I don't have API document, go ahead and do it. How do you handle such situations? That is where the Postman interceptor tool will come into picture. When the API documentation is unavailable, you can do the automation of login APIs or registration APIs or logout APIs or make a payment or add to shopping cart, etc. using Postman interceptor. Okay, I'll take a pause here until chapter 7. Do you guys have any questions? So Nashad says, okay, if I understand your question, this course typically is good for all the beginners, and I'm going to cover beginners plus intermediate in this course. Will cover Jira? No, Jira is not part of my course today.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sir, regarding that CI/CD, what tool are we going to use here?
Jenkins.
Jenkins. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I'll cover Jenkins. Okay, let's continue. I don't see questions anymore. So chapter 8, we are going to talk about one of the very critical and important feature in Postman called import. Once to understand import feature in Postman tool, you can handle nothing less than 10 different projects in real time. So import is a shortcut given by Postman to understand any kind of API documentation. So if a developer says I have a curl format, Postman can understand it using the import feature. Developer says I have a Swagger format, Postman can understand it using the import feature. Developer says I have a YAML format, HAR format, HTML format, XML format, raw text, any format Postman can understand it using import feature. What if the developer says the automation code I have written or the project code is present in GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket? Postman can understand it using import feature. So import feature is the key to automation in Postman tool. So I have taken multiple examples in import to make it very clear for all you guys so that you can crack most of the interviews plus crack most of the projects in real time. If you see here, I wrote import multiple times here. Import, 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 import. Every import is a different documentation. Every import is a different project. Every import is a different extension. So this is the beauty of Postman tool, which no other tool in the market is giving those many options. So here you can see how to import microservices, how to import APIs version 2.0, or how to import Postman open APIs version 3.0, etc. etc. Chapter 9 is part of my chapter 8 only. And then in chapter 10, we'll talk about the variables concept in Postman. See, every automation tool allows you to create variables, right? So in Postman, you have different types of variables: collection variables, global variables, environment variables, data variables, private variables, local variables. So we will create these variables based on the requirement and will kill the variables based on the requirement. During runtime we create, during runtime we delete them. So we'll understand how to write the variables using the configuration options in Postman and how to write it using some JavaScripts also. So option chapter 10 is more of an optional thing, but good to know, because if someone else has developed an automation and you are going to take over it, then they might have used variables. So you need to understand how to understand the world of Postman variables. That's what chapter 10 talks about. And this chapter is going to be very detailed from my side. Chapter 11 focuses on Newman tool. Like one of you asked me, right? Do I teach Newman? The answer is yes. So Newman is a plugin or an add-on from Postman. It's not a third-party tool. It's coming from Postman only. And Newman is a CLI tool, meaning command line interface tool. You need to go to the command prompt, write some commands, and then execute it. So Newman can generate test reports in HTML format, then in CSV format, JSON format, XML format. It can also print in your command line prompt. Okay, so we are going to see Newman tool and how to generate. And using Newman tool, we can integrate with Jenkins also. So without Newman, you cannot integrate Postman automation with Jenkins. So in this course, in this chapter, we will also see how to integrate with Jenkins as well. Okay. So using Newman, I will teach you how to do functional testing, how to do performance and load testing, how to do data-driven automation testing, how to do environment-based testing, and we'll generate different types of reports that I have listed down here. Okay. And in chapter 12, we'll talk about the basic troubleshooting and debugging part. So usually when you're writing automation, we encounter errors, we encounter warnings. Sometimes the tool does not work. So how do you troubleshoot? How do you debug it? What settings in Postman tool you should be aware of so that you do not encounter any errors? That is what chapter 12 focuses on. And finally, the last chapter 13 focuses on integration of Postman tool with other tools. So I'm going to teach a Newman integration, I'm going to teach a GitHub integration, I'm going to teach a Jenkins integration, and I'm going to teach the post to bot integration, which is like a chat GPT built into the Postman tool. That will help you to write automation scripts on the fly. Without knowing Java scripting, you can write the scripts on the fly. That will make you feel like a comfortable, confident, and an expert. So these are the different integrations that we are going to learn in this course, especially in chapter 13. Okay, so this is what I have as part of the overall course. Now if you have any questions related to the course content, like do I teach this, do I teach that, please go ahead and let me know. You can speak up. I have allowed you guys to unmute now, or you can put it on the chat.
Hello.
Hi, this is Arun here. So, are we recording everyday sessions? Because if I miss one class in between, so that I can go for recording and I will get it
Yes,
done.
yes. The classes will get recorded. Even if you don't attend the class, you will get the recordings immediately. Everyone will get the recordings immediately. Everyone will get the notes immediately, irrespective of whether you have attended or not attended. And the
Okay,
videos are available lifetime.
thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, for REST API, we will be using which programming language?
JavaScripts, I told you, right? JavaScripts is the language we are going to use.
Okay, for REST API. And we will be using which ID means in the Eclipse, or we will be doing it in the Postman or Eclipse or IntelliJ.
No. See, Postman has a graphical user interface. So we don't need Eclipse and IntelliJ. We'll use the Postman tool itself to do that.
Okay.
So this is how the Postman tool looks like. You don't have to go for Eclipse or IntelliJ, because other automation tools like Selenium or REST Assured, they don't have an interface. That's why you depend on them. So here you have the interface directly. You can do it.
We can also do the REST API in the other IDs also, like Eclipse and like
That that
IntelliJ.
that
So
is if you are
you will
no
be
no
teaching that or not?
no that is REST Assured. That is another tool. If you are
Okay.
looking for REST Assured tool, then it will be in Eclipse. This is Postman tool based API automation.
Okay. Okay.
See,
And
APIs can be automated in multiple ways. There are thousands of tools in the market to automate APIs. Postman is the number one tool, then comes REST Assured tool. So, based on your requirement, you can take a call. This course is focusing on Postman tool and API automation. So, you don't need Eclipse, you don't need IntelliJ.
okay. And suppose that if I'm having any problem or queries, then how can I reach out to you and get it resolved? Where there will be any problem solving sessions will be also there.
See, every day, the beginning of the class and the closure of the class, we will have time to sort out the questions. So every day you will have time to ask questions. Let's say after the course, meaning after the class you have some question, you can put it on the WhatsApp. We anyways have a common WhatsApp group. You can put the question over there and you'll get an answer from me immediately.
Okay, as whatever you are teaching, and one more question on a day-to-day activity. So, will be getting any kind of means if we want to practice, so any kind of APIs or assignment kind of things. So, where that from where we can practice.
Yes, you will get assistance from me on practice APIs as well. Every day I will give you assessment and you guys can practice that. I will guide you to the websites where API documentation is available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for one question on the chat, the duration of the course is like 1 month, Monday to Friday is when we have classes, and 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the duration. So overall 30 classes you can think.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I have one question, one or two questions. I signed up for this demo to see what's going on, and so far I loved what the demo you've given. So I personally don't have time for this month to follow the 30 days. So I'm asking, will there be an opportunity maybe for the next month, February, so I can set up myself to attend the course? That's one question I'm asking. Secondly, the second question: if I'm not a programmer, JavaScript, can I be able to follow the course without programming skills? Will I be able to follow the course and be able to get something out of it?
Okay, good questions. Yeah. So to answer your first question, yes, in case if the time doesn't work out for you to enroll in the course for this month, yes, for the next month we are starting a batch. You can get in touch with Isha team and they'll let you know the timings and the dates as well. So March also I'm starting a batch using REST Assured tool and also Postman tool. And the second question is, you don't have to come from any programming language background if you are enrolling in Postman tool API based automation, because the tool helps you to write the code automatically. You don't have to be a programmer.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the beauty of the tool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions, guys, that you have? Please go ahead, unmute and let me know, or you can also put it on the chat. Is there one single course covering both Postman and REST Assured? No, Lokesh. Both the tools are different, and both the tools have their own path of success in automating APIs. I would recommend you to go either for Postman or for REST Assured. Doing both would make you learn 50% Postman and 50% REST Assured, which will not be good from a career perspective.
May I?
Here, so
Yes.
after we completing, is there any opportunity for start into API?
Sorry, say that again. You're talking about
After
opportunities in the
completing
market.
this, after completing this course, is there any opportunity for on the job wise?
See, in the market, there are a lot of opportunities for API automation professionals because it has become a default skill set and a default expectations from the interviewer these days.
Okay.
Yeah. See, these days API testing is a mandatory skill set. It's no longer a specialized or a privileged skill set. It is something everyone has to know because every project these days are making use of APIs. And the test engineer, if he or she says we do not know APIs testing, it's a black mark on their profile. So it's a must for every profile to say yes, I know automation testing of APIs. That's
Got
how
it.
you increase the possibility of your profile getting picked up. And the duration of the course is like 30 days, I would say 30 hours, Monday to Friday. Prabhu says, what is the difference between Postman and REST Assured? Okay, Prabhu. See, in Postman tool, see, both are different tools, right? Both are used for automating your APIs. One simple difference is in Postman tool, you don't have to be a programmer to automate APIs because the tool will take care of automating it. You have to just configure everything like plug and play. In REST Assured, you have to be a programmer to automate APIs. where you will write the automation code in Java, in Eclipse editor or IntelliJ editor. So if you say I don't know programming, then go for Postman tool based API automation. If you say I'm good in Java, I can write a program, then you go for rest assured API automation. Okay, that's the similarity and that's the difference between Postman and rest assured. Both the tools are used for automating APIs. Postman, if you don't know programming languages, go for that. If you know programming languages, go for rest assured. Hope that explains the question.
Sir,
Yes, please go ahead.
my name is Vinodini. So I took a course with Isha Institute for Selenium with BDD Cucumber Framework, TestNG, and Rest Assured. However, like I'm grateful for the course. I learned like it gave me a lot of learning, but I still struggle with Rest Assured. And one more thing, like, is it a good choice for me to like the job description? It wants everything, like say from like the frameworks. They want us to know the frameworks, a little bit of the API, but like you said earlier, like you can't do 50% Rest Assured and 50% Postman. So I just got confused if it would be like I really wanted to learn about API testing. So would that be like, I think it's a good choice for me. What can you put your thoughts in?
Yeah. Okay, I'll try to answer, but let me know, Vinodini, if I have answered your question correctly or not. So,
Okay. Yeah.
it is good to learn Postman based API automation, and after you feel comfortable, then it is good to learn rest assured based API automation as well. But if someone says no, in the same course I would like to learn both, the problem will be covering both the tools in 30 days would be a real challenge for every trainer, because rest assured tool expects you to come with Java background and we have to code for every challenge. So any problem statement you have to solve in API automation, you have to code it in rest assured. It is not fast, it takes time. Whereas in Postman, it is a configuration based tool, so things can be done at a much faster velocity. The velocity at which you automate things in Postman will be very high. And these days, if you look at any organizations, because they go in agile mode, they expect you to automate quickly and churn out the results. The productivity should be much more increased, right? That's where Postman tool comes into picture and wins the game. For projects where you have a lot of time to automate, rest assured could be a better option.
Okay.
But the sad part of rest assured is, from a test engineer perspective, I'm commenting, it expects you to know programming languages. So
Yeah.
if Vinodini says, Kiran, I hate programming, go for Postman tool. That's my choice. If you say I
Okay.
love programming and I can do programming, then you can do anything. Then your choice is either Postman or rest assured.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir. Because I have a career gap of like 6 years. So like so I previously I was working in manual testing. So I really need to brush up my knowledge. So that's why I asked you. And one more question, may I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So like in the TestNG framework, we have the components like reports, logs, your runner, your utility files. Is this framework similar to that, or will it be much more different? Do we have a reporting tool inbuilt with this framework you're going to teach?
Yes. Then the tool name is Newman. Using Newman, we can generate nice HTML test reports.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We
Thank you.
can generate new HTML, CSV, JSON, XML. We can generate reports in 4 different formats in a Newman tool.
Just like the framework in TestNG
Yes.
framework. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi Kiran, I'm Smita. Are you able
Yeah.
to hear me?
Yes, Smita, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So I actually have used this Postman in my
You're cutting
past
again. Your
projects,
voice is
but it was
breaking.
like for very less. Okay. Are you able to hear
Yeah,
me
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
properly? Yeah. So I'm saying that I have little exposure to this Postman tool. Like in the past, I've worked for one of the project for very less duration. So and like,
Mm,
as we know, I mean, you also mentioned that the API is being used in various domains like insurance, banking, and
mhm.
etc. So with your experience, do you think there is a different way of designing and writing the test cases, API test cases, and executing them different domains like banking versus insurance, or versus healthcare or ERP, like that? Do you feel there is any difference in developing and executing these API test cases in various domains?
No, absolutely no.
Okay.
The process of API automation remains the same. The approach of API automation remains the same, irrespective of the domains, irrespective of the verticals.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're
Hi
welcome.
Kiran.
Hey, hi.
Hi Kiran. Zishan here. Kiran, I have a doubt. As you said that Postman is a freeware tool. In
Mm.
case, do we have any other plugins required or any other extra frameworks required for this, which could be a subscription base, and those subscriptions are provided by Isha. And after completion of our course, does this subscription, if it has an, this subscriptions extended for how many months? This is my
Okay,
question because we
good.
need to practice now. Then for that thing we need.
Okay, good question. In fact, good thinking. So these are the tools you need access. All of them are open source. None of them are subscription based. They are open source, free forever, free for every person in the planet. So you don't have to worry
Mhm.
about the licensing part and the other things.
Right. Thank you. And one more question is, for example, as it is mentioned in the chat that if we have a conflict, then we can purchase the recorded videos. So for
Mhm.
that recorded videos also, do we have any support in case if we have any doubts to get clarified? So for that also, do we have any process, any groups created?
Yes, yes. I'm giving my WhatsApp number. In fact, most of you are on our WhatsApp group. I'm also part of that WhatsApp group. So I will be
Uh-huh.
providing
Mhm.
support to you guys on my WhatsApp.
Okay.
And see, this support
Thanks.
does not have any, expiry. Let's say you purchase the
Mhm.
course today, you consult me after 6 months, you consult me after 1 year, you still get a response from me.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Kiran.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Kiran,
Yes.
so you have mentioned that there is a paid version of Postman, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what is that we are missing on the free version and and on the paid version?
Okay, good one. So the paid one is mostly suitable for the developers because Postman also allows you to develop APIs and integrate with the front end. So that's where the paid version is more useful. From a testing perspective, the free version is sufficient because we don't have to integrate with the front end systems. It's all about testing. And Postman team has given all the features for free from a testing perspective in the free version itself.
Thank you.
In fact, to supplement my statement, I have been using Postman from 2015, which means close to 9 years. I have been using free version for different organizations like BMW, Volvo, Cisco, Microsoft, so many organizations. I have been using the free version of Postman, and the companies are aware of that fact. And we have automated nothing less than 30 different projects until today using the free version itself.
Hello.
Yes.
You have one question which is just curious, out of curiosity. With the new AI stuff now coming up on the market, how is Postman compatible with this new stuff coming up everywhere? Because you see, within Git and GitHub, they have Copilot, whereby
Mhm.
you can able to do stuff. How is it
Yeah.
going to be relevant with the new AI things running everywhere now. So
Yeah, so I'll answer your
API is
question.
yeah.
So this is the interface of the Postman tool, and this is a small sample API I'm typing here. And what Postman has done is they have developed a integrated post bot, which is like
Mm.
chat GPT kind of thing. And here
Yeah.
I have an option to generate the code. Let's say, I can
Aha.
write
Yeah.
to file status code.
Mm.
That's it, and the code comes automatically.
Mm-hmm.
See, the code came automatically. So that's how Postman helps you.
Uh-huh.
So this is also something I'm going to address in our training program. But I would definitely make your brains work. Only in the end, I'm going to teach the AI stuff, because usually there is a saying from multiple CEOs across the world that usage of chat GPT features will kill your creative thinking. And I believe in that. So we will learn chat GPT, which is built into Postman, which they call it as postbot. So I'm going to
Mm.
explain that to help you generate the scripts on the fly.
All right.
Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the demo today, and I tried my best to answer maximum of your questions. Should you have further questions, feel free to put it on WhatsApp. Either me or my team will definitely answer them. And
Then
we'll
last
also,
question. So if we are going to start the course from tomorrow, or do you have any
yeah,
special
yeah,
date?
it starts from tomorrow without any delay.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Yes, I have one question. Oh, sorry, I have for the time now. This in Sweden now it's 5. Sometimes it confuses me. So, but then when I registered for this course, I saw in my email it was saying 9:30 p.m. So I was actually waiting for this course to be 9:30 when I in the link which I saved in my calendar. So is the time change now? Would it change or of the course or
No, it's at the same time, 9 p.m. Indian timing. It's not at 9:30. It's at 9 p.m. only.
because when I clicked on the link in my where I saved it, actually I took a picture of it and it was interesting. It was just telling that it should be 9 p.m. Maybe it's Indian IST.
Yeah, 9 p.m. IST. Correct. 9 p.m. IST. Not 9:30.
IST means what?
Indian Standard Timings.
Aha, Indian Standard Time. Okay, 9 p.m. Okay. That's why I was confused. Okay, that's why I was confused about the time. And this is the time that means all the lessons should be to take 1 hour, right? From
Yes, yes.
1 hour, and that is the 30 hours per week. That 25 hours because it's only Monday to Friday, not Monday to uh, every day is 1 hour, but basically the
Yes,
session is
true.
one
Every day
hour.
1 hour. Yes, every day 1 hour.
That is Monday to Friday.
Yes, exactly. Monday
So
to
those are
Friday.
25 hours.
Yeah, around 25 to 30. It goes at least until 30 hours.
30 hours. Oh, 30 hours. Okay. All right. And to register for the next month, so should I just because I'm in this WhatsApp group, should I just wait or should I do some kind of a registration do I have to be sure and how to or should I write you in WhatsApp or you send another link like what you did before and then we sign up again or
Yeah,
how?
yeah. You can WhatsApp us, or my team will
Mm,
definitely get in touch with you. Just tell them that you are looking for the course in the next month, and they'll get in touch with you next month for sure.
okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, our pleasure. Okay, then. Thank you everyone for your time. It was really exciting to meet a lot of you folks and with a lot of questions in mind. Thank you very much. Feel free to continue to put your questions on the chat. Thank you everyone again. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow, the next day, the next class. Thank you all. Bye bye.